Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom. The sound of the Vikings just cutting the NFL's next great kicker.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings, and at least I've never lost a job 3 days into it.
I'm Arif from the Wide Lev Substack. I contest that framing. Also, I'm here to avenge my loss in the preseason fantasy contest from last year.
Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman, wishing everyone a happy National Will Riker Day. Be safe, celebrate responsibly.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talk's Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Welcome in a brand new week on the Minnesota Football Party, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen today. For listen number 2, listen to Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings. You can find our audio on the Locked On Vikings audio feed. You can also find Luke Braun producing great daily content on the Minnesota Vikings. Again, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Glad you're with us. You met the Lukes, you met Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Talking Vikings training camp today. Jordan Love signs a massive extension in Green Bay. Good move, bad move. The Vikings now have the leg up on Green Bay with a $220 million contract now on their books. We'll debate that, of course. And we've got our second annual preseason fantasy draft. We spent the last 20 minutes debating the scoring. Arif had some very strong opinions. Braun and Inman came in. They all had strong opinions on this. And I'm the defending champion. They're trying to sabotage me. We'll get into that toward the end of the show. On an episode that is presented today by FanDuel. Make every moment more as the playoffs wind down. The sports stop sportsing like we want them to. But this summer, still some sports going on. Olympics going on. FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a booster bonus daily. That's right. Something for everybody, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Coming out of my Olympics-related fog to talk Minnesota Vikings football today, gentlemen. Scale of 1 to 10, Olympic fog. I'm at a 10. I watch all of it. I overindulge in the Olympics. And it's kind of a sickness because I get a little stressed out if I feel like I'm missing stuff when I'm sleeping. But Inman, Olympic fog at all?
It's probably about a 2.2. Seen a lot of clips just on X on Twitter. I saw Scott Hansen though running the maybe I didn't see any octo boxes. I don't know if that was
there was an octo box.
There was a Scott Hansen
definitely
octo
a squad.
Box? Okay.
They threw to one octo box as a novelty. Not really using it a lot.
Just for a bit, just for the.
But they had a 16 box this morning, I guess. So.
Okay, that's
wow! Like all the tennis matches.
Wait, so is that like only on Paramount? Because I've just been watching on like
Peacock.
YouTube TV. Yeah, right, Peacock. Whatever, man. That's their fault, not mine.
Whatever.
I'm right about that.
They haven't advertised the Olympics enough for Arif. He still.
Well, no, it's like the 80s streaming services. That's why it's easy to confuse them, and that's their fault. No, because I've only been watching on YouTube TV, and if you watch on mobile, you can just create your own quad boxes and stuff like that. So maybe a reason to watch on Peacock. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got the all-around gymnastics competition on the other TV. Updates throughout the show. No, just kidding. The big update is John Parker Romo is cut. I think during our wackiest training camp predictions, I tossed out that, hey, John Parker Romo, he might make some noise. Maybe he's the kicker, and you guys shot it down, rightfully so. They're going to go with the draft pick, and this regime tends to not love the kicking and punting competitions. They cut bait quickly, and it sounds like Will Reichard had a really good session at the padded practice. I think he was perfect. John Parker Romo missed a kick. See you later, buddy. He announces on X He is
Yeah.
gone.
Well, wait a minute. Officially, is he officially cut?
Not
get a
yet.
tweet from
Team
the
hasn't
Vikings
announced
yet?
But
it.
he
Who
tweeted
knows?
out like, "Thanks Vikings, I'll be back soon." Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
good.
he's like, I'll miss you guys. Like, oh,
Yeah.
are you leaving?
Oh, you're out of here? Maybe it's the reverse jinx. Maybe he's just trying to undersell it just to get in Will's
Actually,
head.
that would-
He goes, "Oh, I'm coming back. Oh, he's back."
Yeah.
That would
He
be
cut?
like
Oh my God.
peak kicker to tweet like you
What?
got cut,
The
and
mind
then
game.
actually you're fine.
The mind game. I
Yeah,
love
kickers,
it.
big mind game fans.
Yeah,
Huge. They
I'll
love
always have the memories. Then
Just
tweet-
out of nowhere. Could you
It has an
imagine if like
alter ego.
Justin Jefferson did that just to mess with us?
it. Dude.
Oh,
yeah,
God, that would
come
rule.
on.
He
Yeah.
posts, a video of his last catch. Never know which catch is going to be your last.
Yeah, you never know when your last catch as a Viking.
Romo comes back in the locker room though. He's got an accent all of a sudden. He's
Yeah,
got
a mustache.
It's a whole,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, a whole different demeanor.
No, there is good reason to do it this early if the decision is made, and like at which point I would question, you didn't really have a competition. Somebody else probably could have been in camp for these couple days, but like if the decision is made that strongly, now their specialist group is set. They've got kicker, holder, long snapper, and that will be the same group now throughout basically all of camp, which it
Clean
helps a
operation.
lot. Like that hurt. I want to say it was Dan Bailey a lot. The year he struggled the most was a long snapper competition. He never really got used to the rhythm of the different speed of the snaps. And that like really hurt his preparation, and he had a big struggle in camp that year. So like that continuity is useful. So doing it early does have like there's a reason to do it like right away. And if you already know you're going with the draft pick, like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to open the door to the draft pick getting outshined if he misses a couple kicks and suddenly you are compelled to have to cut him. You don't want to be in that position. So now they sink or swim with
That's
Will
a
Riker.
completely different reason than what Luke just said.
Yeah, that's different. And like, if that's the case, cut the draft pick. Oh my God. It's a 5th round pick. Like if he's not the better kicker, cut him. But I think that they became very sure that was not the case.
And he'll proceed to miss 2 or more kicks in each of the next 4 competitions. Now that he's been deemed
Games,
live.
yes.
What happened? This is what happened. Was it? Can't remember if it was Carlson or the kicker after that, or
It was Kai Forbath
Kicker
got
after
cut after he didn't kick in the preseason that year.
I believe Carlson struggled after he was given the job. And then he was okay in the first game against the 49ers. I think he was perfect. And then Lambeau.
He had one
And then
kick
it was
in the 49ers game, yeah. But
So which franchise will John Parker Romo star for
Mm.
this year?
Chargers.
I mean,
Jets.
The funniest answer, I think, is the Cowboys, right?
Who's on this Vikings schedule
Carl
that
Romo,
he can beat,
nice.
that can beat us with him?
The
That's
Jets.
the question. The
In
Jets.
London.
yeah,
In London.
Jets in London.
Double,
Yeah.
double,
Double
doink.
doink put in.
That goes in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dirty. Wow.
Didn't love that you all were in sync on how exactly they were going to hurt the Vikings. That,
Well, it's just
That means it can't
writes
happen that way. That's
itself.
too expected.
Yeah. Reverse jinx. Yep.
It's somebody who's not on the schedule, but the Vikings they'll be the 2 seed, and the Vikings will sneak into a stupid
Ooh.
7
There it
seed,
is.
and then
Yeah.
like third quarter we'll feel like, oh my God, we can actually win. Maybe they're pulling it together.
like a reverse how Andy Dalton helped the Bills that one year get into the playoffs. Like a
Yeah.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers engineers a last-second drive. JP Romo finishes it off.
Yeah.
Cruel agony.
Actually, the Lions are having isn't somebody hurt on the Lions on the
Badgley?
right
Oh.
now?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
The Lions had Riley Patterson for a minute, didn't they? He's been with a bazillion teams, but I thought they had Patterson on their team last year. Could be wrong.
They had Patterson on their team last year, and then they got Michael Badgley. If only there were a way to Google this.
Oh, well, too bad. We'll never know.
There isn't.
Vikings signed former Dolphins and Giants free agent defensive back Bobby McCain, reuniting him with Minnesota DC Brian Flores. That is from Adam
Now,
Schefter.
Arif, why would you do that without telling me to play this?
Because I'm not as committed to the sound as you and Macho are.
Come on. That's on brand for a read. The villain.
Scotty in the chat actually had that first. I don't know if you saw it from Scotty.
I did, but you can never trust chatters, so I double checked online.
All right. Well, we'll do what we always do when the Vikings sign a player during the show. We do live Pro Football Focus research. Bobby McCain is 30.9 years old. So his date of birth, August 18th. He turns 31 in August, from Memphis.
Veteran Flores guy.
5th-round pick drafted by Miami. So he was with Miami. He wasn't drafted by Flores, but was, I assume, on the team during the Flores era, or at least the start of it. Went to Washington. Went to the Giants, barely played last year, but has almost 6,000 career snaps from the Miami and the Washington days. Again, this looks like a guy who you're hoping still has something. This is your veteran corner. This is who you're bringing in to give you some depth with the loss of Mekhi Blackman, with the injury to Shaq Griffin, which, again, I hear soft tissue injury, out for a week or more. I'm worried. This coaching staff always undersells how bad these injuries are. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3 weeks with the way that they typically operate. So Bobby McCain comes in. He's going to have a legitimate chance to play on this team. When you look at this resume, the amount of snaps he's played, the experience he has, this is the guy. So this is your help. Knee-jerk reaction, Braun, do you like it?
I have no idea who this guy is, but it's probably going to do me personal harm when he makes the team over Lewis Seen. That's going to hurt, and I just have to steel myself for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a real
I hope
thing.
He makes the team. Great. Fantastic news.
Yeah. He's listed as a safety, so I don't know if he does much about your corner thing.
Well, okay,
Dude,
so
this just fuels the fire for 5 safety looks. Okay, we're there. We're not that far away, guys.
I think he's primarily a slot guy, so he's like 5'9", right?
Okay, so it'll be like the Metellus role, backup Metellus.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Metellus
Backup
role, because
Theo.
this guy has tons of tackles for a quote-unquote cornerback, and I don't think it's because he's giving up tons of receptions and coverage. I think he actively involves himself based off of like the data that we're looking at. I obviously haven't watched him play. I'm just like you all here. But it seems like he's played more snaps in the nickel than he or in the slot rather, than he has in any of the safety spots over the past couple of years. It seems like he's very actively involved in the run game. Seems like he also has a somewhat high missed tackle rate, but I think that's just because he just has a high tackle opportunity rate, which is that, he puts himself close to the ball.
Yeah.
It's not that he's obviously wonderful in coverage. If he was, we would have heard of him before this, but
so we're all on the same page. None of us have really ever heard of this guy.
I mean, I've heard his name.
I really, to be honest, dude, I just do not know a lot about.
Played a ton in the league. I mean, this guy's been a starter
2015.
for like 8 years.
Yeah, he was a starting free safety on the Flores Miami defenses when he was there, and then when he went to Washington and New York, they played him at slot corner. So that I'm actually curious as to what they'll actually do, if they'll make him backup Cam Bynum or backup Josh Metellus.
Well,
but I do think
that's
a guy that
sign
like
a backup safety versus a backup corner,
and Theo
or
Jackson
just a
was
corner,
presumably already the backup Metellus. So Mike, it does seem a bit superfluous, but again, this is a body to help your depth.
Yeah,
not a guarantee to make the roster. But I don't know. But I think my point is that this is their idea of a solution.
Really, I can't imagine they're.
That's
done.
not what Alec Lewis said. Alec Lewis is and like people have posited that there's like a more real veteran or something coming, but they will also do some depth.
And maybe
so it might still be somebody else, but
I also I'm not.
The roster's full right now, so
that critical of their approach at this point in the season to resolve these injury issues.
There's not a lot you can do when there's like 3 guys.
Yeah, when you say I'm worried that this is the solution, like what else did you want them to do? There's not a lot you can do at this point aside from trade for Marshawn Lattimore, and it sounds like that's probably not on the table based off of when we talk to Russ. It just seems like that's just not going to happen.
Also, maybe not that great of an idea. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. So their idea.
You need
an
outside corner,
yeah, for
which this guy is not.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
but
to do with the Shaq
it does
Griffin
give
thing.
you the assurance that you wouldn't have to play Murphy in the slot all the time, right?
It allows you to push Murphy to the
true.
outside.
So they would want a slot there.
Yeah.
If he could grab snaps as a starting slot, I think that would be huge. But I think looking at the resume, that's not somebody that you're going roster bubble. That guy feels like somebody that makes the team with all that starting experience.
Yeah, and I don't know
70+ tackles. Yeah.
He's with the Giants. They'd have to dig on this. He only appeared in 2 games. I don't know if that was injury related. I don't know if that was just fell off a cliff related. didn't fit the scheme. Going to have to look into that, what happened in New York last year, because he played 2 years in Washington and not terrible. I mean, his 20
Played one game from scrimmage, by the way.
Say again?
And then three
in Washington.
Played one game from scrimmage, mostly a special teamer. So just to back up.
Yeah,
We're
correct.
talking about the Giants.
In the Giants year. The
God,
Washington years were not bad years. I mean, to my eye here. So I have to dig into what happened in New
I just
York.
pulled up the KOC quote. I thought it sounded more aggressive the first time I read it, but you're right. He basically, just knowing the type of camp I want to have from a work standpoint, I do think we're going to need to add to that position just to make sure we've got enough bodies, enough of a head count. It's just bringing in bodies in here. And going back to Shaq Griffin too, Sam, like they don't have the luxury to force that at all. Like if they lose Shaq for any big amount of time, especially going into the regular season, they're already obviously hurting. I mean, we've talked about this on every episode. They really have to baby Shaq now at this point. And I have no idea the severity of that injury at all, soft tissue, to what extent that means. But I would imagine they'll baby him quite a bit during this training camp.
I'm with you. Probably not playing him in the preseason, probably giving him a long time to get right. And that's how they treat veterans. And when you're at a position that's as shallow as cornerback, I think that's probably the correct approach here. Problem is, you kind of need him to understand what he's doing out there. This is a new system for him. And it sounds like a very aggressive defensive system with the blitz rate off the charts in training camp so far. That's one of the many reports I've read over the past couple of days. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll talk about anything that stood out to us from the pads coming on at training camp, coming up next on the Minnesota Football Party. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. No NHL right now, no NBA. WNBA is on break. The sports aren't sportsing as much right now, except for the Olympics, which I am completely engrossed in. And fortunately, FanDuel gives me lots of options there, lots of options with Major League Baseball. So there's plenty to bet on. All I have to do is open the app, dream up bets whenever I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, something for everyone every day. That's all summer long as we wait for the sports to get sportsing again, football, NBA, and plenty more. Head over to FanDuel.com. Start making the most out of your summer. It's FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right, make sure to also check out Locked On Sports today and the Big 6 in 60, a couple of shows giving you a national look at sports from the talent here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Couple days of practice over the weekend. Pads came on for the Vikings. What stood out to you guys from the reports, the X posts? I just got to call them tweets. I'm sorry. What stood out from the tweets? Yep. I'm not going to call them X posts. That doesn't make any sense at all. Luke Inman, what'd you see? What stood out
lost
to you?
the mandate of Sam. Man, rough week for Elon.
Whoa, right to the show, dude. Holy smokes,
I removed my endorsement.
His strongest soldiers.
We can get into the weeds, a couple great highlight clips, the Jalen Naylor stuff. I think just in general, just kind of a broad overview. Listen, they put so many eggs in the basket of trading up for JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner just to see the positive news, just kind of good vibes, good stories, couple good plays, flashing a little bit. I think that is a good takeaway, knowing that at least it's not like let's just say it was a Lewis Cine situation. Can you imagine? Even if it's unwarranted, hey, we're only 3 days into camp. Let's pump the brakes, everybody. But can you just imagine if Dallas Turner /or JJ McCarthy started out the gate really slow, looked really bad, looked terrible, looked way behind the gate, all of a sudden people would just be freaking out that, oh no, they invested all this draft capital into both these guys. And even if it was just one of them starting out slow, I think people just kind of hit the panic button way too early. So I'm just glad JJ and Dallas Turner seem to have some good vibes around them. And we can go through the individual plays, like Jalen Naylor again seems to be flashing quite a bit. Even Will Reichert too. Again, just good vibes about the kicking situation for once. So I think it just feels good to have. I'm not going to say all these stones unturned yet, but it just feels good that the big first round guys, and then a day 3 kicker, but it's a kicker and it's Minnesota Vikings. So I just feel pretty good about those 3 guys specifically.
Yeah, vibes are like pretty good everywhere except cornerback. Everything else seems pretty encouraging. And JJ McCarthy pretty clearly QB2. Yeah, and I think that's correct. I don't think he moved up.
When you say QB2, it sounds like you're saying he's second on the depth chart, but what
Right.
feels like is being
That-
communicated by the people there is that he is the second best quarterback there, and those are two
Totally.
different things.
Hey,
No,
and-
he's
and
with
I
the
think-
twos now. He's with the
He
second
is?
team. Yeah.
Okay.
As of the last practice, I think that was the first time.
So I remember when they were doing like the QB2, QB3 competition, even like last year, they would rotate people in and out of QB2. So I don't know. I don't want to be definitive about that unless we have a statement from
it
O'Connell.
has to sustain.
Yeah,
But he didn't rotate. He spent the entire day with the twos, and
Right,
then
but no, they
if
would
today he
alternate-
spends the whole day again, then it's okay. Yeah,
right. But their rotation under this regime is to alternate days, right?
It is.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I don't recall. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't
something
know
to
if I
watch.
recall Jaron Hall doing a lot of twos though. He was seldomly with that group.
No, you're right.
not
but-
in camp. He wasn't with the group. In spring, he would do a couple of days like with the twos, and it
That's
didn't
right.
go well, obviously. So that's I think super fascinating because it suggests that he's on a trajectory much better than the Vikings had anticipated, which obviously is good news. It also puts into context some of the reports about how he did in red zone drills, right? Because everyone's like really happy about his red zone drills, and I do want to pump the brakes on that a little bit, like saying he scored 4 touchdowns and 5 red zone attempts. It's like that's what happens in those drills. There's a lot of
the drill.
touchdowns.
Most of them on Andrew Booth. Booth
Yeah.
tax.
Our cornerback room's fine though.
But
Yeah.
but that's more good than bad, right? And if he's doing it against the twos, it's obviously much more meaningful than doing it against the threes. But yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of hype for this guy. I do think it's kind of funny the way that we get to talk about rookies, though, because I actually kind of disagree with Inman, because I think when rookies struggle in camp, we excuse it. And so the vibes are actually not usually that bad with rookies. It's second year, third year players when they struggle, then you start hitting the panic button. But I remember a lot of rookies struggling and people being like, it's fine, the rookies will figure it out, especially early in camp. But when rookies do well, it's phenomenal. Great vibes everywhere.
I
Everyone's
get it. They
happy.
get a little bit of a grace period for sure. I'm just specifically with the
They
Vikings.
That's the
should.
great thing about rookies.
And
I
again,
think they
though,
often
there
do
is
not, but yeah.
there's always going to be more pressure on the first round picks, though, specifically, especially the higher up you
100%.
get in the order, and the fact that the Vikings did mortgage so many draft picks to go get these two guys specifically, no seconds, no third round picks. There just seems to be a lot more pressure. So I'm with you. You're right. Those guys usually do get a grace period. Like even with Lewis Seen, honestly, looking back. Nobody really hit the panic button until it was like week 1-ish. Like, oh, so he's really not starting. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. That's
Should
and
we
that's
be
one of the
worried?
things
I
I'm
still don't
remembering,
know yet, though. Maybe
I-
they're really just babying him along. I still don't know.
And
yet,
it is different, right? Because like when Cameron Bynum is the one who was starting,
Right.
You kind of understood it, right? When it was Ed Ingram, you were like, this sounds like trouble. So
Totally.
there is like always some context given
Yeah.
like what the competition is that they're expected to beat and stuff like that. But yeah, we waited quite a bit on panicking on Lewis Seen. So I do want to add that.
I want to. No, that's a good point. I want to push back, or at least play devil's advocate with the JJ McCarthy getting the number 2 stuff because, and again, I love watching all these TD passes and highlights and clips and splash plays as much as the next guy. But wasn't this kind of always the plan all along? Just as in the sense that Nick Mullins already knows the offense so well. He's been here. He's got
He did
a
say
firm
that.
grasp on things that in turn, okay, the 2 new guys are going to get more run and more reps during camp. Like, didn't we already kind of know that was going to be kind of the game plan or how
I
it looked? early
thought
on?
McCarthy was supposed to like incubate with the threes a little bit, like put him on the third team, let him cook, let him simmer, let him get his mechanics right and all that stuff with no pressure, and then when he's ready, he starts ascending. I didn't expect it to happen this soon, but I don't know. Maybe I just suck.
But no, Luke, that is actually a really good point because I do remember O'Connell saying something about the advantage of having Nick Mullins, who knows the system, unlike Darnold and McCarthy, or at least has experience in the system, I should say, is that you don't have to play him as many reps, and so that might play a role. I also know that this is the messaging the Vikings are going with when Gabe Henderson did his NFL Network hits, because they do like the around the training camp stuff, and they go to all the local. Gabe Henderson essentially repeated that, which tells me that that's kind of the line that the Vikings want to use, which is that Nick Mullins just doesn't need that many reps compared to the other 2 quarterbacks, and so there are days where you don't have to put him out there. So that's another piece of context that might suggest that he's not quarterback 2, even though he's running with the 2s.
Yeah, and again, he's still got to go out there with the
but
2s
maybe he
and,
is.
and still perform, which he's not. Like,
Yeah.
this is great, watching him
Yeah,
go out there
and-
looking as good as he does, but I still fully expect, like, preseason games, I think, will tell us a lot more,
Yeah,
and just
I'm
where
curious about
everybody's
that.
kind of ranks, obviously.
And
I will
early.
add, finally, like, it's kind of interesting seeing the way the reporters are talking about Sam Darnold, because it's always, like, with JJ McCarthy, it's like, man, this guy looks good, and with Sam Darnold, it's like, he's doing it. Like,
He's a guy.
Just the way,
Yeah,
the way
he's
people
got
talk-
one bomb to Addison a day,
bomb,
and then,
yes.
but apparently
Yeah.
he struggled a little bit in the
Yes,
day that was
in the
open to
most recent
fans.
one.
Everybody
Yeah,
was
looked
talking
good
about it.
Day 1
Yeah.
looked so day 2 and 3. It sounded like, maybe you guys can attest to that a little bit more, but just going off everybody's kind of scouting report and
Yeah.
grades from camp. Good day 1, day 2 and 3 maybe took a little step back, but it's
It's
fluid.
just-
It's such a
like
fluid
people were
situation,
like,
man.
"Whoa, is McCarthy's with the 2s? He looks like the better quarterback even than
Yeah.
Sam Darnold right now. When's he going to be with the what?" Like people were starting to have that, which I think is premature. But
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we do, though, right? Like
Yeah.
we just digest what's in front of us right now, and this is what we do. And right now, again, I think it's great that that JJ's look so good. Again, preseason, depth chart, all that stuff. I think it's way too early to cement anybody into any spot right now. I mean, I'm still curious again what the game plan is going to be with Mullins and Jaron Hall. I think, we kind of talked about a few episodes ago. Maybe they try to sneak Jaron Hall in the practice squad, but again, it's such a fluid situation. There's so much at camp and preseason left. A lot can change and probably will change in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. Preseason playing time will be certainly under scrutiny and will play in to our preseason fantasy draft decision making,
Hey, baby.
which happens in a
go.
few moments. Apologies for that. Before we do that, I do want to touch on the Jordan Love extension and how it relates to our favorite football team. So the Packers have now extended Love 4 years to $55 million a year, highest paid quarterback. Jared Goff extended 4 years, 134. So not near, much more mid-range. Or did I get that wrong? What was the Goff?
That feels really cheap, but
No,
I
Goff,
don't
Goff
have
was
it pulled
two.
up.
I'm sorry, Goff was 212. I
Yeah,
saw the
the
wrong,
Goff
wrong figure.
contract pulls its punch a little bit because there's also like an out after 2 years, I think. So it's
Point
not
being-
quite the commitment that like the Vikings did with like Jefferson, for example.
So we know what Jared Goff is about. We know his valleys. We've seen his ceilings. He signed certainly off of a ceiling. So like they signed him at arguably the worst possible time to negotiate. Jordan Love, Arif, and we're going to go to you to this on Arif because you wrote the authoritative piece on Is Jordan Love Good? Wide Left Substack.
Yes, which all
But-
Packers fans agree with. So
Yeah,
Correct.
no, they're very happy with
unanimous actually.
Yeah.
But could with
it. Wide acclaim.
the unpredictability of Goff and just the lack of information about Love, could the Vikings find themselves in the division's best quarterback situation? If you get the slightest glimpse from McCarthy that he's something going into 2025, you got to love where the Vikings would be compared to their division foes. Arif, take it from here.
I think the odds of that are low because you also have to consider like Caleb Williams is in the division as well. All three of those quarterbacks kind of hitting their worst possible outcomes or even negative possible outcomes. All of that at once is pretty unlikely, but I do think that there's obviously reason for skepticism for all of them. I've written about both Jared Goff and Jordan Love over at the Wide Left Substack. So the Jordan Love one is really just about how people perceive quarterback development and how they interpret performance over the course of a season, right? Because Jordan Love had a pretty miserable first half of the year. Now, Packers fans have contested that framing of mine, which I'm sure they're free to, but the statistics are not favorable. That first half of the year was pretty bad, and I remember watching a lot of it. It didn't look good. The second half of the year statistically was quite explosive, and if you take a look at process-oriented grading systems like PFF, which are supposed to account for like bad throws and stuff like that, also pretty good, although probably not quite as good as the statistics suggested. So, he is a big fan of tight window throws. He's a huge fan of deep shots. He really does like high variance styles of play, and it looked like he was gaining skill in those high variance styles of play, but because late season improvement is essentially really difficult to disaggregate from noise, just statistical noise and variance. It's really difficult to tell when a quarterback with a limited amount of experience improves late in the season or just happens to have better outcomes late in the season. And so I took a look at a bunch of statistical evidence to see kind of what the most likely outcomes for Jordan Love are. And, the good news for Packers fans is that the most likely outcome is not that he's bad, right? It's unlikely that he's the 20th, 25th best quarterback, although I would consider that in the universe of possibilities. But the most likely outcome is that he's like 16th, 17th, 18th instead of, he finished the season like the final 10 weeks, including the playoffs. He finished the season like a top 3 quarterback, which is absurd. And it seems like what they're paying him for is that level of production. So that piece is really just about how we interpret season-long data viewed through the lens of Jordan Love, but obviously because of that, the news for Jordan Love isn't really optimistic. And then Jared Goff is just like, his statistics are great, but no one respects him. Why is that? That's what that piece is.
I think the Packers kind of had to do it, right?
Yeah. They were.
It's not like they had the choice to just like let him walk. That was never going to happen, which is the cost of sitting your quarterback for 3 years.
Yes.
Right.
And only playing him in the 4th. And then unless you get perfection in his first year, you're going to have this weird sample, but we got to do it kind of moment. So it's a gamble that they had no choice but to take. But for their trouble, they got to develop him for 3 years and not put him in too early. I think if they played him in 2020, he would have been a massive bust, and they probably would be on
honestly,
year 2 of their next
I remember
quarterback by
they
now.
threw him in. I think it was at Kansas City. It might have been a primetime game.
Yeah,
even
the shutout.
like in his second year, and he didn't look right. I'm not
he wasn't ready at all.
He didn't look good at all.
And he came out as a guy that needed time and was very clearly a developmental prospect. So the plan all made sense, but it's not like it comes without cost. And that cost is you don't get that much information before you have to make the large money decision.
Yeah.
And especially too, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot knowing how beneficial it is, to your point here, Sam, from a team building perspective, to have that rookie quarterback on that rookie deal, right? To have that quarterback on the rookie deal for those 4, potentially 5 years. So I mean, kind of a risk reward for sure, but in the end, I think Luke's right. Like they had to make a move here, and I think it was a long shot that they weren't going to roll with him after investing 4 years now into him, and knowing it's such a quarterback driven league. Like what are we going to do? Start all over from scratch? I mean, there was no other option realistically, anyways. Just given where they're at right now.
Yeah. I mean, I am.
Couldn't happen to a better franchise.
I'm here for it because, so Aaron Rodgers was always highly paid, and he usually held up his end of the bargain by being an elite quarterback. With Jordan Love, the sample size is so low, and now he's literally the number 1 paid quarterback in the league, that I'm here for the panic. I'm here for the overreactions. Like if he has another first half of the season like he did last year, which is entirely possible. It's his second year of playing NFL football. I'm going to love it with the ups and the downs. And when you get paid like that, the overreactions, especially from an overreactive fan base, are rich. So it could be highly entertaining.
More than with the first round pick.
Like we could have Deshaun Watson level vitriol from the Packers fan base.
I don't know about that. There's a secondary concern outside of the contract for Deshaun Watson.
You might need to add to that context in a way nobody wants to.
I said without the massage stuff.
And again, too,
That's
like Jordan Love, okay, for right now, we've done this so many times with all these quarterback, extensions or contracts. Like by next year, I don't have the free agency list in front of me, but by next year, he ain't going to be one of the richest quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, he'll still be up in that top tier, but this is just how quarterbacks and these contracts work. Remember when everybody had a heart attack when Kirk Cousins signed that crazy and wacky 3-year fully guaranteed for $84 million? Like people's heads popped off their body, man. And I get it. This is not a fully guaranteed contract. I get that. But this is just the norm with quarterbacks, man. Like I know Love's wasn't fully guaranteed, but you look at the past, especially just 2-3 years with quarterback deals, nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore when it comes to paying high-end quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. This is your market. Like this is the going rate. Middle tier guys like Derek Carr's of the league get 25-ish mil a year. Like that's the floor. That's just the floor now.
It looks like Dak would be the next guy to reset it.
That makes sense. Yep, Dak.
I do want to point out that, like, especially with quarterback contracts, these averages will lie to you. So Patrick Mahomes, for example, is like 12th, 13th something in average per year. But his cash flow over the past 3 years is like top 3 in the league. Like, the amount of money that has entered his bank account has been excellent, as it should be.
As it should be.
And
if he's not getting paid top 3 money, something
right,
wrong.
and he'll restructure every 3-4 years to ensure that that's what happens. And I'm sure in 2052, the Chiefs are going to pay a high price for their 7 rings. And I'm sure they're going to be very comfortable with that.
So Dak Prescott's next. Jordan Love's inked. Tua's inked. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence is inked. So Justin Fields is the next guy after Dak Prescott, if I'm looking at this list right.
It's not.
Yeah, to get his next 1-year veteran minimum deal to be a third
so
string
like maybe
CJ Stroud might be the next one.
Wow.
Yeah, like the 2022 class was such a it's Purdy. That's the only guy that's next to be paid.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Oh,
yeah, the discourse will be good.
Purdy going into year 3, so after this year.
He's going to be the only quarterback out of that class to get another contract, which is so insane.
Man. Should we do our preseason fantasy draft?
Been waiting.
That's next. We're brought to you by Gametime today, an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. Twins are on the road right now, but they'll be back at Target Field soon, and you can get tickets faster and easier with prices going down the closer you get to first pitch. There are so many great features at Gametime. I like the fact that the prices are all in, no hidden fees. You see the panoramic view from your seat, but some of those exclusive in-app deals, the flash deals, are fantastic. I was actually looking at Vikings preseason tickets. You want to take your kids to a game where there's a little less at stake. It's a little more open, can kind of spread out a little bit. Preseason football on August 10th, you can get lower bowl for like $50. It's great. Check it out at Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets, MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL, all one word, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Second annual preseason fantasy draft. Let me tell you guys who some of your stalwarts were last year. I was the champ. Luke Inman, second place. Luke Braun,
and
third.
who kept score? I just want to verify this.
That would be me. That'd be the commissioner.
Interesting.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
That's just interesting.
Funny how that works. Now, last year we played for an advantage in our regular season wagering contest, where you could double your
and who
wins.
kept that score?
Oh, that would be me, the commissioner.
Okay.
Funny how that works. Would we like to continue that tradition of playing for an advantage?
I liked
like
it.
that.
Yes.
I liked it. A lot of people didn't like when the MLB All-Star game, all of a sudden it's for stuff like the World Series. But you know what? I think we're onto something here, guys. I think
it seems like placing fourth in the preseason fantasy draft didn't prevent me from like winning the gambling contest. So
yeah,
there you
go. Congratulations. Good for you. But I did use my advantage. I believe I used it perfectly. Because I think it
was very well timed.
No, you played it as good as you could have possibly played it, from what I remember. Yeah,
kept me on last place. Didn't have to eat hot wings like Luke Braun did.
Didn't have to do the combine back-to-back years in the snow.
Oh man,
yeah.
Luke Inman, your tight end that you picked last year. Remember his name?
Remind me.
Colin Thompson.
Colin, the podcaster, right?
Stud.
Was a key member of your
team.
You
drafted a podcaster.
Stud, locker room guy, media guy, community guy. Yeah.
Well, media guy in a very literal sense. I think.
Literally, though, yeah.
Arif, you lost 3 of your players either due to benching or injury. Jalen Naylor, N'Keal Harry, Johnny Munt. They didn't even play. Aaron Dykes.
That's a stacked team on paper.
Was your star. Kind of was.
Johnny Munt not playing was like, really? You're holding out tight end 3?
Come on.
Yeah, I was shocked that they wouldn't play Johnny Munt. But when Jalen Naylor got hurt, because initially, to speak to your point earlier in the show about how they slow roll these injuries, Initially, the reports were like, yeah, he'd be out a week, which sounds familiar, I suppose. And then he just kept on not returning. And like a week, and I was holding out hope, right? Because he was like my star receiver.
And then you're like, there's only 3 preseason games. We got to get
right. It's like, what am I gonna do? But like a week before that first preseason game, they were like, yeah, I don't see it. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'm screwed.
I'm toast.
And who did I have at running back? Was it Kene?
No, it was Dykes. It was Aaron Dykes.
Well, no, because I added Aaron Dykes in our second round of, because we had a second draft, right?
Oh yeah, because we got to do like a waiver thing for the
right.
the
and so I had
Copeland
I had to choose between fixing my running back situation and fixing my wide receiver situation, or fixing my tight end situation. That's like what my one draft pick was designed to do, and it did none of those things.
Yeah.
Because I remember I didn't have a running back either, so it might have been Kene, could have been Dwayne McBride, or maybe it was like Ty Chandler and they just didn't play him. It was something, but I remember also drafting a running back that wasn't Dykes, and then having to grab that guy later.
Probably Kene then, because Kene is the one who missed all the games.
Luke
Braun, you thought you had a great pick. Ivan Pace Jr., he's going to play a lot. He ended up being so good that he didn't play.
Sat out.
Third game. Yeah.
Incredible.
That had to be one of the first round picks, right? Was that your 1-1, your first pick?
No, because I feel like IDP isn't even the good IDPs won't go 1-1.
Yeah. He just had so much hype last year at that time, a year.
I was excited to get him for sure.
Now. Yeah.
Let's get into it. Let me share my screen. Live show. Apologies.
Technical difficulties.
Let me take this off. All right. So we are adding a defensive player this year. And we're adding a super flex. Now, the rules on the super flex, it can be literally any player you want, any position you want. If it's a punter, there's no points there. If it's an offensive lineman, there's not really any points there. But we can do kicker. You can do quarterback. And that Garrett Bradbury might make a catch.
Hey, and reception, yeah.
The quarterback is interesting because you've got 4. I don't think you can necessarily rule any of them out from playing, but also it's unlikely all 4 will play. You just don't know who's going to get benched on a given day.
Yeah, so it's tempting, but you don't feel great about any of them, do you?
No, because Hall, like if they think they want to play Darnold maybe because he's new in the system.
Mm-hmm.
They might want to play Mullins just to eat up snaps because they have 2 other guys. They might, maybe McCarthy's so far along that they don't want to play him as much. I mean, we just don't know who's not going to play. So that's very conflicting. But we've got 7 rounds, 1 running back, fullback, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, adding a defensive player. So 2 defensive players using the Yahoo system, which I'm not going to read them off, but points for tackles, points for QB hits, sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles, and all that. And we're going in reverse order of last year. So Arif, Braun, Inman, myself is the draft order. Arif will kick it off. The 2024 preseason fantasy draft is underway.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Super flex out of the gate.
I'm not going to screw around with this, man.
Yep.
Good pick. Good pick.
All right. Arif with the QB. Braun, it's a snake draft as well.
Only one other QB that's going to get like real reps, so Nick Mullins.
You think so? You think Mullins over Hall? You don't think Hall?
Yeah. Jaron Hall is in jail right now. He's the 4th QB. He's doing handoff drills. He's going to get in for like 1/4 quarter.
I think you're underestimating how conservative this coaching staff will be with.
I actually, I'm. See, now I feel like Sam is going to snipe Hall if I don't take him here with his bang bang, and you have to have a quarterback. I feel like in the super flex. So, let's roll the dice. I'm going to go with Jaron Hall. Be it he is in jail right now, but a lot can happen. We'll see.
Talked him into it, folks. I talked him into it.
You got to have one. Super flex. You got to have one. You rolling with Darnold?
I'm not going Darnold. I'll go someone else.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's not going to go.
Well, now I've got Reichard. So that's guaranteed points every single game. He's the only kicker on the roster.
Watch him get hurt.
I feel like that's a minimum 5 points per game. I kind of like that a lot. But that's a freebie now because you guys can't do a super flex. So I'm going to wait till the very end. I'm going to probably
I was kind
go
of hoping you'd waste your super flex. That sucks that you thought about that.
all strategy. No, I got to go running back because there's only 4 running backs and then fullbacks. Probably not Jones. Wangwu's unreliable. This is actually a really tricky room, you guys.
It is.
I'm going to go Gaskin. I have no idea who's going to play Gaskin. That's going to be one of them. And then I'm going to go wide receiver probably.
But did you already take Riker?
No. I
he's
said
waiting.
I was talking through it, but I
see.
said
Got
it's
it.
a freebie
Got it.
pick.
You
So
still,
I'm going to.
okay. You still haven't made your picks. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
going to
we
wait on
can't-
it.
Still going.
We can't
Okay.
pick him, so it's going to be his last pick because he doesn't have
Mhm.
to worry about it being stolen from him, which is not a concern, frankly. But
I want to go Naylor, but also injuries. So I'm going to go with the guy that led me last year, Thayer Thomas. And that sends it back to Inman.
Okay, let's go. So you took Gaskin and Thayer.
Gaskin and
Mhm.
Thayer.
Okay, let's go with Tristan Jackson.
Tristan. That's good. That's very good. Braun.
I'm going to go with the guy that led the team in fantasy points last year, Dwayne McBride.
yeah, I was going to pick Dwayne McBride.
Wait, hold on.
I think that's the
What
team
am I-
that gets the most run, that like third team kind of lower.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay, I'm looking at the Vikings.
Kenny.
I'm looking at the Vikings roster on their website.
Unfortunately.
RB under RB, they've got Chandler, Gaskin, Jones, and Wangwu. Where am I missing McBride? Oh, okay, he's on the NFI.
Oh.
You
picked him.
Oh,
Yeah, you picked
well, whoops.
Hey, he's in
Didn't
jail.
realize
Jaron Hall's
that.
in
He
jail. McBride's in jail. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna give my guys a chance to redeem themselves. Let's go, Kenny Longwu. And Jalen Naylor.
Jalen Naylor. Bring it back. Reunion.
Oh.
I like it.
He is reactivated as of July 24th, by the way.
Well, great job, Vikings, on the roster update. Do I have maybe my tab didn't refresh? No, I
Okay,
definitely
back to Braun.
back to Braun.
I will go with. See, I feel like I could take Trent Sherfield on the 2s, but I feel like the 3s play more.
I know it's tricky. I know.
But also, we haven't done any tight ends yet, right?
Correct.
So Nick Muse is just right there. Nick Muse.
Sure you don't want to pick Johnny Munt?
Yes.
I mean, the 3s play a lot. He's the third tight end. I don't see why you wouldn't pick him.
Surely. Preseason touchdown machine, Nick Muse.
Okay. Inman.
Okay. Is this time to go? We need 2 defenders. Again, who's going to be on that third string? If I had my
that's
pick
a
of
tough, especially on defense.
Yeah.
any defender, if I had my pick right now, who would I want? Again, got to be second, if not third team, maybe a younger guy who's going to play a position that is going to soak up a lot of tackles, maybe make a splash play or two. I'm going to go Jay Ward. I think they really like Jay Ward. I think he's going to get a lot of run. Maybe even get that block kick in there this year. He was close last year.
That's good, Inman. Last year I went Luigi Villain. I went edge rusher. Had a lot of success going that route. We don't have Luigi this year. And I wouldn't say there's a clear-cut prospect that I love. I don't know. Gabe Murphy's going to do stuff. Owen Porter. Bo Richter. I don't know. But
It's a good name, Bo
everything...
Richter. Bo Richter.
Everything that we've said about Gabe Murphy leads me to him. So I'm going to go Murphy at pick number 12, Gabe Murphy. And then I think I got to cash in on tight end because there's limited supply.
Mm-hmm.
We got Knox. And really, who else? I think I got to go Trey Knox. I don't love I don't know if Oliver, Tunyon, or Munt. I don't know what that workload's going to be. Trey Knox is your innings eater. If he was a relief pitcher, Trey Knox, tight end.
Good pick. Good pick. Okay. I feel like tight end and running back are kind of soaked up now. Like you're either, like you said, Munt or Tunyon or Kenne and Ty Chandler. And I feel like, is it just me and Arif? Is it just me and Arif?
Has Kenne already.
I already got
okay, you do have Kenne.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're
pretty much
stuck
stuck
with Ty.
with
like at this point, I might as well.
Do they have a second fullback?
I don't think they do. They?
No.
I don't think they
They
do.
do not.
That hurts.
I think
That
they do.
hurts.
Yeah.
So good luck with Ty Chandler.
Good luck with Ty Chandler is right. I'm going to go with, maybe I'll just get my other receiver in here. I'm going to go with Lucky Jackson.
God.
That's good. That's who I had last year. Very good.
Just a crapshoot, though. 9 of these receivers. Who's going to play? Who's going to make a couple plays? It's tough.
Well, I passed on Trent Sherfield, but he feels like the only, if I pick like one of the undrafted guys, they could be cut tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
It's got to be Trent Sherfield.
Okay.
Man. Okay. Well, that's going to force me into receiver and tight end. I don't think I have any other option. It'd be really funny if I pick N'Keal Harry again, this time at tight end.
Run it back.
No, at receiver, I'm kind of the same mind. I think I have to pick Malik Knowles. Like it's so tough for me to pick these undrafteds, especially when there's been no buzz about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do that. And then at tight end, Samus Reyes. Screw it.
That's an interesting possibility. That's definitely the wild card of that room.
Yeah, I think there's like some tactical advantage to that. So I'll do that.
I'm like worried if I let this go back, Sam will take a receiver and then put another one in his super flex. So I feel like I have to take
tricking you with the Will Reichert stuff. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be perfect.
I feel like I have to take one of these undrafted guys. That's all that's left is Ty James and Jayshon Jones. I'm gonna go with Jayshon Jones. Ty James is wearing number 40. I can't do that. It's Jayshon Jones.
That's a good process. I agree with that.
That's a good take.
Yeah.
Inman.
It's just sinking in how just absolutely foobarred I am at running back right now. I just have zero. I don't think Ty Chandler is going to play at all. I don't think Ty and CJ.
You might have to go with the waiver pickup.
Yeah.
When a random running back joins the team, after week 1.
AJ Rose coming back.
You need that.
The post week 1 waiver pickup.
Can we
I'll remind you,
allow an exception for him to just pick the next running back added?
Well, just pick Ty Chandler in case, and then drop him.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. But at this point, I'm just going to wait. At this point,
you might as well do that
my
last.
Mr. Irrelevant. So let me go back to defense here. Who's going to get some run? Make some tackles, maybe a splash play or two. How about Brian Asamoah? I don't know. Kruger Hill.
Who's to say?
Dallas Gant, Andre Carter, Pat Jones. I just don't think Andre Carter is very good. That's the problem.
That's the other part of this, right? It's like, okay, I need someone who's going to get a lot of snaps that also has
someone who's not good enough to play on the second team, but it's good enough.
Let's go with BA
to do well when he does play.
Yeah, let's go with BA. Hopefully he still plays.
It's not everybody football. Can be an Alexander Hollins.
Bones. Yeah.
I need a receiver and I need defense. N'Keal Harry is still listed as a receiver, so I think that's in play.
Is he? I thought he was listed as a tight end.
He's the tight end. He's working out with the tight ends.
Can't do
He's
that.
listed as a receiver. I'm going with the official document.
Oh my God. No.
Wait, so
listen to what the Vikings say. I would say, as opposed to what the
website that says that Dwayne McBride is still on NFI. Have they updated that in the last month?
Yeah, that website. Yeah.
Are you for real right now? We're going against the official document.
No, you're going against reality. He's with the tight ends.
Wake up. Turn the
Remember
fireplace on.
how many
Wake
times
up.
the Vikings tell you that the depth chart on the website is not official? How many times do they tell you that, Sam? All the time.
This is not a depth chart.
Says he's a tight end.
The roster is official, I'm pretty sure. Wouldn't you say this is an official roster?
We're talking about the roster that has Dwayne McBride at NFI?
Sam, Justin Jefferson is available. Punch it. You're wasting our time. Let's go.
Hey,
JJ.
Wikipedia
Just take Ty
says
James.
he's a tight end.
It's fine.
JJ.
Wikipedia says he's a tight end. I'm just saying.
This is such a crapshoot. Again, guys are going to get hurt.
I've been
We
going
have
off
no idea
of
who's gonna
Our
play.
Lads, which is always more up to date than the team websites.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Are you sure that Dwayne McBride has been activated? That's my question.
CBSSports.com, July 24th, 2024. Vikings, Dwayne McBride comes off NFI list after being on it for 2 days.
I just feel like we shouldn't be disagreeing with Kevin O'Connell when he says stuff like he is going to play tight end for us. I just feel like when the head coach says he is moving to tight
Didn't
end.
they tweet it out too? Wasn't it like a tweet, an official tweet
How about-
from Vikings.com?
Sam, just put him in your super flex. Then it doesn't matter.
Well, I do have
same thing.
strong feelings about the kicker situation.
That's
Let's
true.
do a little Twitter, just searching his name, N'Keal Harry. Let's see what he's defined as.
But like on his Twitter profile that
No,
every
just like
athlete makes
people,
sure to
like
update?
people at camp, if they're tweeting about N'Keal Harry and where he's playing.
It's definitely tight end, is it not? I could be wrong.
tweeting
I
about
guess I
N'Keal
could be
Harry,
wrong,
something
but-
has gone wrong.
No one's tweeting about N'Keal Harry.
That's what I thought.
Literally
Is
don't
he-
see a single.
we just let him do
single
this because I
tweet.
don't know if this is going to work out anyway.
From JJ Vikings
He
account
just
at
really
JJ
d-
Vikings, June
No.
4th. Minnesota Vikings move wide receiver N'Keal Harry to tight end.
Sam is scared of drafting Ty James, but that is the strategy he chose, and now he has to eat it. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Sam, do you think I like taking, who are my options even at running back? I got nothing.
Man, I'm protesting this, but I'm gonna, for the sake of time, I'm gonna give in and I'm gonna take Mercer's finest, Ty James.
Devron Harper.
You still got
Number
another
40.
pick?
I would have
I do
slammed
another-
him if he were still on the roster, too.
Oh,
I would have been so
smart.
wrong about that.
Dude, still got another pick? Let's go.
Ty James with the 20th overall pick. And then on defense, I've got an outside linebacker. I want to go for like a safety, I think. Someone, a Jay Ward type, but not Jay Ward. Who's going to play?
Lewis.
Lewis.
Somebody's got to take
Seen.
him.
I'm
Who is
taking.
hurt?
Come on. Somebody's got to take
I'm
him.
taking Lou Scene.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm doing
Wow.
it.
I'm
Let's go.
honestly rooting for you, at least
Yeah.
at that.
Currently dealing
Lewis
with an
Dean
undisclosed
is going to
injury.
miss so many tackles that it's going to make for great comedy.
He's going to meet Zach Charbonnet in the hole, and he's going to end up maybe on the IR. But you know,
He'll
what?
get a
It'll be
half.
fun.
He'll get a half tackle just from like getting his body in the way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Good pick. Good pick. SOD, steal the draft. All right, back to me. I need a running back or a tight end. Is N'Keal Harry available? Tight end.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You have to.
I have
Watch
to.
Robert
That's probably
Tonyan
the move.
outscore all four of these
Well, it's
guys.
him or Tunyon.
Yeah.
It's him or
Timber
Tunyon.
Tunyon, yeah.
Yeah, N'Keal.
I think Harry and Muse line up next to each other on the third team right now. So, like in 12 personnel in
Oh,
those.
no-brainer.
splits. So I need defense, and I'm
you're
looking
going
at the.
Chandler. Chandler was your. Oh, sorry, you're not picking twice. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, I need defense. I'm looking at the inside linebackers. I think are usually the best position to go for IDP.
Mhm.
Osmo is Kambu Grugier Hill is, I think.
I was looking at Grugier Hill if I didn't. go
Yeah,
off the ball.
he kind of goes in that he's probably with the twos. I don't know how much he plays.
right.
He's
But
probably-
So
they
I'm
might
going
want
with
to
this
practice
next
him
group.
with the green dot. They might want to give
Yeah.
him some reps with the green dot, though. Think
Maybe.
about that.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm between Dallas Gant and the new guy in Jabril. I'm going to go with Jabril Cox. A little more proven, might get a little more run.
I like it.
he
Yeah.
spent time at
That's how these
NDSU,
end up
right?
going. It's like
He
who's,
did.
Who's the bottom?
all right,
Who's
well.
the
And
bottom
then
30
transferred to
guys?
LSU when it was proven
Yeah.
that he was too good for NDSU.
The bottom 20
Yeah,
guys
but
on the
still,
on the
original
roster is
sin,
who
you
you
know.
want to target.
Okay, so this is going to be tough to figure out because I had the exact same problem with Grugier Hill. But I don't know. You already took Gabe Murphy, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'll go. You know what? I was talking to Bobby McCain's tackles. Let's go, Bobby McCain.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, Sam, is he listed on the official Vikings website?
They just signed him 4 minutes ago.
Okay, so
Get
it's
outta- get
not
outta here.
up to date. Okay, great. And then I'll grab Dallas Gant. Special teams tackles count too.
Not Bo Richter because it's fun to say.
It is fun to say.
I like it. Dallas Gant. Okay.
Dallas Gant also
Braun needs one more defender.
I need one more defender. I'm looking D-line. Like, if Dallas Gant is gone, I don't want to go. Like, Bo Richter is tempting, but I feel like somebody on the interior of the D-line.
I feel like a Levi Drake or
do I go for like
Todd Ward.
interceptions? Do I just take the Duke Shelley route?
AJ Green.
Yeah, AJ Green. I don't know how much Theo Jackson's actually going to play, although like Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, and Josh Metellus will not play.
Are not going to play. Yeah, and then what do they got, like 3 safeties left?
But Theo Jackson might be good for like a second team pick, or do I just do the Kamu thing and just take that? This is very hard. Kamu, Grugiero.
I'm glad that you're having a tough.
Good.
You'll get some. You get some tackles with that. All right, so I guess I have to go Ty Chandler. Hopefully he gets, 1 carry for 80 yards and a touchdown, and they pull him. But
and with 2 fullbacks or with one fullback, they're not playing ham. They're not doing any fullback work in the preseason.
Honestly, I think where I screwed up was not taking Gaskin 3rd overall. Looking back, letting you take Gaskin. That was my screw up.
My screw up was not doing McBride, probably. But again, how am I to know?
Viking depth chart.
How am I to know when it's not updated? That leaves me with the super flex. And I've been thinking this through. Anyone I take at a skill position or a defensive position, I could get a goose egg. If I take Reichard, it feels like my minimum. My minimum, they only score touchdowns and they get like 3. But odds are we get a field goal in there, like 5 to 10 points per game feels pretty good. And I think that's solid. You'll take that in this environment. So Will Reichard is Mr. Irrelevant.
He could have one kick and miss it. Like his floor is
I was going to say, preseason
1,
games tend to
3.
be like 10 to 6, right? But you're right. Even 10 to 6, maybe you get 7 points.
6 would be great. 6 could be 8
missed
points.
extra point. Missed extra point.
Okay. And there's no penalty for that?
There is.
-1.
-1, I would say.
Yeah, -1 for a missed kick of any type.
Well, now that we know you drafted the only kicker, we might change that.
Norse code rules. Let's go.
Those are the teams. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see them. If you're listening, thank you. And you can go check us out on YouTube.
If you're only listening and not watching I admire your commitment. It's incredible that you listen to the draft.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for watching, for listening, for commenting. So I haven't even been on here. What are the comments saying? Seems like you are all having a blast.
Rules, Norse Code League. Okay,
this is the most convoluted draft I've ever seen. Correct.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
Correct.
This is a deranged practice, but in theory, it'll inform listeners about third teamers. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, let's spin it. Let's spin it. Let's get the PR team in here. Yeah.
Education,
everyone loves the preseason fantasy draft.
Entertainment, enragement. The 3 E's of this show.
I can't wait for my whole team to be injured again, man. I'm already mad.
I swear to God, if you get Jalen Naylor injured.
That's on you.
Thursday.
I'm giving him a chance to redeem himself, man.
We'll do it again on Thursday. We'll welcome in the month of August. That is crazy to think about. Luke Inman, Locked on Vikings. Luke Inman. Luke Braun, Locked on Vikings. I'm losing my mind. Luke Inman, postcasts. Arif Hasan, wide left. I'm Sam Ekstrom. I dabble in all of it, sort of, here at Locked on Sports Minnesota. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See ya.